Good morning, students. Today I'm using this in order to protect my eyes from the UV rays. Okay, and in today's class we will learn about the mutation. Now, what is mutation? Mutation is an inheritable change due to the additions or loss of one or more chromosomes, or due to the change in the structures of a DNA. So there are two important points in the mutation. One is either change in the number of chromosome of a diploid cells, or change in the change in the structures of a gene of a DNA. So both of these things leads the mutations. Okay. Now, in order to understand this, now every living organism, I'll take you to this. Look at here. Human beings. This is the number of the total set of chromosomes in the diploid cells. We are supposed to have 46 chromosomes. Now, if there will be an extra chromosome here in the 46, it also causes the mutation. If there is a less than 46, also can cause mutation. So both the things, or sometimes the number of chromosome remains the same, but the genes which are present within these chromosomes may be altered or may change, which also causes the mutation. So now look at here, every chromosome has got a number of genes. Now in case of this cells, human cells, we have the largest chromosome, the first chromosome, and it has got the maximum number of genes. I've written here, largest chromosome has got 2,968 genes, whereas in the chromosome number, the smallest chromosome is the Y chromosome, which has got 231 genes. So if the changes occurs in any one of these genes, also lead to develop the mutations in the organisms. Okay, so now how do we, in the definition here, one more things you need to notice here. It's a heritable changes, means it is passed from one generation to the other, or the parents passes this, if the certain mutation occurs in the fathers or mothers, so those mutation can be passed on to the offsprings. Now, how do parents pass the mutation to the offsprings? Now that can be understood by this slide. Now these are the gamete produced by the mother, and this is produced by the father, and every gamete cell has got 23 chromosomes. Suppose if some changes occurs during the process of gamete formation in the mothers, and she develops only let's say 24 chromosomes in the gametes instead of 23, then this child will have one extra chromosome. So 24 comes from here, and then 23 comes here, so it becomes 20 here, 47, one extra becomes 47. So this extra chromosome 47 here causes the mutation. Okay, or sometimes the number of chromosome may be less than 23 here in the gametes. That will make the the offspring to have only 45 chromosomes, which also causes the mutation. So either there is an addition or subtraction of chromosome from a diploid cells, leads to the chromosomal mutation. Now, mutation can be very, very harmful, it can be very useful, or it may not have any effect in our body. Okay, so now look at here. A very small percentage of the mutation can cause the genetic disorders. Like you must have heard about Down syndrome, you must have heard Turner syndromes. We will discuss about these syndromes in this relations in details. So see, a very small percentage of mutation can be very, very harmful, but sometimes the mutation can be very useful also. Like I'll give you an example of the useful mutation for people living in the equatorial region, like sickle cell anemia. In the sickle cell anemia, the person who is suffering from the sickle cell anemia, he doesn't suffer from the malaria. So people living in the equatorial region, they have a more chances of suffering from the malaria disease. But if he or she is suffering from the sickle cell anemia, which is a kind of a mutation, but he doesn't suffer from the malaria disease, means he can overcome the malaria disease. Look at here. Here the mutation becomes a useful trait to him, or one of the important things to his body, okay, in order to overcome some of the disease. So this is how the mutation can be harmful, useful, and sometimes the mutation may not have any effect in our body. It just remains in a dormant condition. So this is how we learn. Okay, now, so this mutation is like two types. One is chromosomal mutation. From the definition of you understand, if there is change in the number of chromosome, okay, it causes the chromosomal mutation. Or if there is a change in the structures of a gene, then it leads to form the gene mutation, which is also called the point mutation. So in our relation here, in this video, we will learn about the chromosomal mutation. Now this chromosomal mutation is also called macro mutation, because if you compare the size of the gene and then chromosome, the chromosome is thousands times bigger than the gene. Because of that, macro means large here. That's why it is called the macro mutation, okay, because it occurs in the chromosomal level. Okay, now this chromosomal mutation is again two types. Look at it. The chromosomal mutation is two types. One is genomic mutation, the other one is chromosomal aberration. In the genomic mutation, there may be additions or subtraction of chromosome. You can see here the chromosomes is being added. This is the normal cells, but half number of chromosome is being added here. Okay, here this is the normal. Just don't include this, don't include this chromosome, just include only this chromosome. Okay, this much of chromosome here. So this is the normal cell. Now extra 3 chromosome gets added here. So this leads to form the genomic mutation. When there is an addition by haploid number of chromosome, subtraction by the haploid number of chromosome, or addition of one or more chromosome, or subtraction by one or more chromosome from the diploid cells, leads the genomic mutation. Whereas in the chromosomal aberration, the number of chromosome remains the same in the diploid cell, but what changes here is the structure of chromosome. Now look at here, this is chromosome number 4. So this chromosome number, after the mutation also there is chromosome number 4. Okay, so there is no change in the number of chromosome, but what has been changed here is the structures. Look at here, right from here to here was the structures of a chromosome before the mutation. Now after the mutation, some part of this chromosome number 20, now chromosome number 20 is here. After the mutation also chromosome number 20 is there, but some part of the chromosome number 20 comes to the chromosome number 4. So here what is happening in the chromosomal aberration is the chromosome structure is changing. This leads to form the chromosomal aberration. Hope you got this difference between the genomic and the chromosomal mutation. Let's move on to, okay, this genomic mutation is again two types. One is Euploidy, the other one is Aneuploidy. Okay, now Euploidy is again two types. One is monoploidy, the other one is polyploidy. Here is Aneuploidy is again two types. One is hypoploidy, and then here is hyperploidy. Okay, and Euploidy generally occurs in the plant. It occurs generally plants. Example like I'm not saying that it doesn't occur in the animals. Okay, of course it does occurs in the animal too. Like you must have heard about the male bees. Okay, in the male bees we have only 20. Okay, yes, 32. Okay, 16 chromosome. Whereas the female bees will have the 32 chromosome. Look at here. So there is euploidy occurs in some animals, but it mostly occurs in the plants. So we'll discuss about that in details. Whereas aneuploidy, it mostly occurs in the animals, and it's very common in animal and very common in the human beings. Okay, in human beings. Okay, and then we'll discuss this one in details here, but let's go and define the definition of euploidy and aneuploidy. Okay, look at here. Euploidy is additions or loss of complete one set. Just keep that in your one set means one set or more than one. So what is that one set? One haploid set. We can understand the haploid cells, half number, n number of chromosomes. If there is additions, okay, let's go back, n number of chromosomes, okay. So you have 2n number of chromosomes here already. So if there is 2n number of chromosome is subtracted by n number of chromosome, half number of chromosome, it forms only 1n here. So 1n is subtracted, okay, only 1n remains here. So this 1n, only 1 and 1 means here mono. What does mono means? 1. So monoploidy, only 1n remains here, okay. But we have a 2n number of chromosome in the euploidy, and then if there is an addition by haploid number of chromosome, half number of chromosome, then it becomes here 3n. What is it? 3n. Look at here. Or sometimes more than 3n, 4n, 5n. It goes on. Then it leaves what? The polyploidy. Poly means many. Ploidy. Ploidy means n. Many n's. Here monoploidy means, mono means 1, ploidy means 1n. So here number of chromosome is being subtracted from the diploid cell or being added by haploid number of chromosomes. So this leads to the euploidy. Okay, so the euploidy is two types. Now I'll take you to the one of the example of polyploidy. Okay, now come down here. Now look at here. In case of the this is the example of polyploidy. Look at here. In case of the wheat, we see the modern wheat today, we have how many ends here? Oh, 6 ends here. 6n. So this is an example of polyploidy. Okay, so we understand this. Okay, now so polyploidy and monoploidy. I think you got it here. On the other side here, if you see, okay, if you come back here, in the aneuploidy, there will be we have 2n number of chromosomes is already here again. So if there is one chromosome gets reduced from 2n, then it leads to form hypoploidy. What does hypo means? Less. Okay, less. One chromosome is reduced, then it leads to form the hypoploidy, less than 2n number of chromosome. Okay, whereas here the 2n, we have one chromosome gets added. One chromosome gets added here, then it leads to form hyperploidy. Means what does hyper means? More. So here number of chromosome will be, if suppose if this aneuploidy occurs in human cells, so we will have more than 46 chromosomes. Okay, if this occurs in human beings, then we will have less than 46 chromosomes. Okay, one of the example of hypoploidy I will give you here. Hypoploidy is Turner syndrome. Just remember that in the Turner syndrome, one less chromosomes will be there, whereas in the hyperploidy there will be a Down syndrome. Okay, which is also called trisomy. Down syndrome. In Down syndrome, the person will have 47 chromosomes. Sorry, 47 chromosomes. Here in the hypoploidy, the person will have 45 chromosomes. So one chromosome is less than the 46. So here one chromosome is more than the 46 chromosome. So this is how the aneuploidy and euploidy occurs. Euploidy, as I told you, it occurs mostly in the plants, whereas aneuploidy mostly occurs in the animal. Okay, same thing I have explained here. I have discussed about this one. The aneuploidy is again two types, the hyperploidy and hypoploidy. We learned that. So now look at here. And euploidy, look at here. Euploidy, see what is happening is, this is your normal cells. After the mutation, there is the extra chromosome comes in the cells, but this extra chromosome is being added by n number of chromosome. N means half here. Look at here. What is the half of chromosome? Half of this cell. What is the haploid number of chromosome of these cells? Is 4. So 4 extra chromosomes get added here. So it becomes 4, 4, 8, 12. It becomes 12 here. N. 4 extra chromosome comes into the cells, okay, after the mutation. Look at here. In the aneuploidy, please don't include this one. Please don't include this one. Don't see this one. Okay, we have 8 chromosome. This is normal cells, but after the mutation there are 4 extra, 3 more extra chromosome, not 4. If the 4 extra chromosome gets added here, then it will be like a polyploidy. It will be like polyploidy, but not 4. Half of this chromosome is 4. So now only 1 or 2 or 3 chromosome gets added here. Sometimes the 1 chromosome may be added here in the mutated cells, or maybe 2 chromosome or 3, but not 4A. But if you add here 4 chromosome, then it becomes the euploidy. Sorry, yes, it will be example of euploidy. So this is how we need to understand here. So I told you euploidy is, look at here, 2n number of chromosome we have, 2n number of chromosome, 1n number of chromosome gets added, then becomes 3n. Sometimes in some organism, I told you in case of the wheat, we have a 6n that leads to form the polyploidy. Whereas in the euploidy is monoploidy, we have got, this diagram is so clear, children. We have got 2n number of chromosome, but 1n, n means half number of chromosome is reduced, means half of this cell is half number of chromosome of this cell is the 4 is reduced here, only 4 remains here, which lead to form the monoploidy. Okay, so 1 here, mono comes from 1. It's not that hard to understand here. Come to the aneuploidy. As I told you, the aneuploidy is again 2 types. One is the hyperploidy, the other one is hypoploidy. We have a 2n number of chromosome. It mostly occurs in the human beings also, or in mostly animals. So 2n number of chromosome. If 1n gets subtracted from the one chromosome, not na, 1 chromosome subtracted from the 2n number of chromosome, then less hypo. Okay, and this is one of the example, Turner syndrome. Now look at here, this Turner syndrome. If you see the Turner syndrome, he has got 1, 2, 3, 4 goes on. He has got 23 pairs, but in the last pair he does not have 1 chromosome. Okay, so the total number of chromosome in case of this person is 45. So count here. So 22, 44, 45. 1 chromosome is missing. So 45. 1 less chromosome means hypoploidy. Okay, and here 1 extra chromosome, you find one chromosome is extra here. Okay, from the diploid cells. So in diploid cell we must have 46 chromosome, but he has got how many chromosome? Here 47. Now can you see where is which chromosome number he has got extra chromosome? This is the 21st chromosome. So this is hyperploidy, means hyper means more. Okay, hyperploidy, and the name of this disease is called the Down syndrome. 21st here, instead of having 2 chromosomes, he has got 3 chromosomes. So it lead to have 47 chromosomes instead of 46. Okay, now this is also called trisomy because there are 3 chromosomes. What does tri means? 3 chromosomes. Okay, tri means 3. Trisomy. Now, whereas this one is called monosomy. Why it is called monosomy? Because there is only 1 chromosome in this pair. That's why it is called monosomy. So this is what about the aneuploidy. Okay, aneuploidy is 2 types. Okay, so this is what we have in this lesson. In our next lessons, I have shown here. In our next video, I'll discuss about the gene and point mutation in details. Okay, and let's go back and once again we will recap quickly. Children. Mutation is an addition of chromosome, or simply you can make it more simple. When there is a change in the number of chromosomes, okay, it is called the chromosomal mutation. Whereas if there is a change in the DNA or a gene of a DNA, then it's called the gene mutation. We learned that. In some other lesson we'll discuss about this, the gene mutation in details. Whereas here in the chromosomal mutation, we have done the chromosomal mutation is again 2 types. Okay, chromosomal mutation is 2 types. One is genomic mutation, while the other one is chromosomal aberration. In the chromosomal aberration, there is a change only in the structure of chromosome. Number of chromosome doesn't change from that organism. Okay, but there will be change in the structures of chromosome. Whereas in the genomic mutation, the number of chromosome it changes from the diploid cells. diploid chromosome. A diploid cell will have extra chromosome, okay, or they may have less chromosomes, okay. So this is how euploidy, genomic mutation, again two types, euploidy, aneuploidy. Euploidy is two types. Monoploidy, when there is a subtraction by haploid number of chromosome, it leads to form the monoploidy. If there is an addition by haploid number of chromosome, then it leads to form the polyploidy. It mostly occurs in the plants, don't forget that I've written in plants, but it does occurs in the animal also. I told you about the male bees and female bees, okay. And aneuploidy mostly occurs in the animals. If there is an addition by one extra chromosome, then it is called hyperploidy, and if there is subtraction by one chromosome, then it is called the hypoploidy. Hypoploidy is also called monosomy. I told you monosomy in case of Turner syndrome, because the last pair has got only one chromosome, that's why it is called the monosome, okay. And the hyperploidy is the Down syndrome, in which the extra chromosome, there will be one extra chromosome, and then in a pair there will be altogether 3 chromosomes, okay. Let's list to form. So this is what I'm talking about, the last point, okay. Okay, let's go here and then see this one, and then we will finish with this. It's taking much time. Okay, so this is the one. So this is one, okay, extra chromosome and more chromosome. Thank you so much, students. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any problem, please do write to me. I'm there to help you all, okay. Thank you so much, okay.